Welcome to Anime Out of Context, a comedy review show hosted by a basement dweller who grew up scrounging terrible fan subs on sketchy websites prior to the convenience of modern streaming, alongside a willfully ignorant soul whose only knowledge of anime comes from the shows forced upon him here. This show will contain spoilers, incorrect information, and copious amounts of adult language. Our hosts are not experts on any topic, and everything they say should be taken with a grain of salt. Thank you for listening, and enjoy.
Hello and welcome to Anime Out of Context, the show where I attempt to explain the sometimes weird, sometimes wonderful, but always hilarious world of anime.
And I get ghoulishly gaslit by my close friends.
I'm Shaun Rollins.
I'm Remington Chase.
And Rem, I'm sad to say it, but today I'm giving up on one of my dreams.
I've given up on all of them long ago. Like, I don't know, about 4 years ago. When did we start the podcast?
Oh man, it's hard to say at this point, Rem. But no, Rem, I made a goof in a previous episode of the podcast that I thought to myself, yeah, when this happens is when we'll do this show. But it's been so long and they haven't gotten back to me, so I figured, it must be too much to ask to try and get superstar Tony Hawk on your anime podcast. So I'm giving up on that dream today. And instead, we're just gonna watch the anime instead, and just think about what could have been.
Wait, Shaun.
Yeah.
I think amazingly, I know what anime we're going to do. Very unfortunate. Tony Hawk couldn't make a showing.
Yeah. I sent him a message, didn't respond. I can't imagine why. Broke my heart a little bit. Tony, if you stumble across this episode. And you still would like the opportunity to be on an anime podcast.
We'll take it.
We'll take it. It probably won't be about this particular anime because we'll have already covered it. But I'll find something. I'll find something that matches your interests.
So I think the only reason I think I know what we're doing is, and this person isn't why we're doing it, but
no.
Man, this person has been there. Is that genuinely for the past 6 months, for half a year now.
Yep.
We've gotten weekly emails recommending one particular anime.
Mm-hmm.
And I imagine this is finally that anime.
Yes, and while I do love and appreciate their messages, the main reason we're doing it is a combination of that and...
I will say, like, while it wasn't really a factor in us doing it this week, because I know Shaun, he is not easily swayed by that. I do admire the gumption.
Yeah, no, total of 23 weeks at the time of this recording, which is
Woo-wee.
Impressive. And, like, their recommendations were very, like, well put together, because they also provided skateboarding facts with every single thing.
So good.
Which was, like, I admire the creativity in your recommendation, guys. Like, if you want me to pay more attention to your recommendation emails, having, like, creative input or like actual text in it rather than just saying the names of anime will more likely get me to pay attention to it. But generally speaking, I admire the gumption. But no, I just figured that since I couldn't get Tony Hawk, I figured now would be the time. And you needed something a bit lighter from what we did last week.
All right, so it's an anime about skateboarding, I take it?
Yep. Because this week, Rem, we are going to be watching an anime simply titled Sk8 the Infinity.
But then it's Sk8, which is also, that's the infinity symbol turned to a side. I get what it's going for there.
It is, like, the original title is Sk Infinity Symbol. Whereas the full title is Sk8 the Infinity for the American release, or the English release, I should say. Or it is quite regularly called Sk8 or Skate, just simply because, but Sk8 the Infinity is like the easiest way to identify it from every other skating pun out there.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty straightforward show, Rem. It's simply about a young man by the name of Reki.
Oh no. Oh god. A young skateboarder, but then at his prime, he attends the world championship. He goes for a risky move and he injures himself. He loses, but then he finds solace in writing shitty anime.
No, don't be ridiculous, Rem. That Reki wrote light novels.
Oh, my bad.
And still does, from what I can tell. But no. Our main character is Reki Cayenne, I believe is how you say his surname. It's either Cayenne or Kian, because it's
good old Reki.
Yeah, Reki is much easier for me to remember for obvious reasons.
Reki, not Kawahara.
Yeah, exactly. And Reki loves one thing and one thing only, and that is skateboarding. But
Yep.
specifically, he really enjoys going to an illegal underground downhill skateboarding race group, essentially.
Sure. All right.
And this whole story is about Reki and his new friend Langa Hasegawa, who is a half Canadian, half Japanese boy with no skateboarding experience, coming and learning how to skateboard from Reki after he has an unfortunate accident and can't practice, but really wants to stick it to like some of the more scummy skateboarding people. And I'm being vague on purpose, Rem, because quite frankly, this anime is straight up. It is pretty colorful boys skateboarding downhill and being overly dramatic about it. And
wait a minute, pretty boys skating. Wait a moment.
Yeah?
There's another one, albeit a different kind of skating.
Yep.
But this sounds eerily familiar, Shaun. Do
Well-
they fall in love?
Well, I mean, it's not.
Do they fall in love, or do they just pretend they do and like tease it a lot? Those are the only realities I can see.
It is some combination, because this is a very boys love type of anime, but they don't actually slap the boys love tag on it. So it feels to me
It's just boys like.
boys like. Yeah, there's some boys like here.
Perhaps boys like.
Who can say? That'll be up for you to decide, Ryan, if you think it'll actually go in that direction or not. But generally speaking, it is just the story about two dudes who like skateboarding downhill in an illegal underground racing thing, and a bunch of colorful characters and colorful performances. It is shockingly simple, and the complexity comes from like the characters themselves and the activities.
It sounds potentially promising.
Yeah.
But also, I'm still fucked up over last week, so maybe I'm just happy to have anything that's not an isekai right now.
Oh yeah, no, this is pretty.
This
set
isn't an isekai, is it?
No.
It's not that they all got transported to Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, which, now that I'm thinking of it, would still probably be the best isekai that's possibly ever been created. Especially if it actually just starred Tony Hawk. Like, even in the subs, right?
Right.
You just have everyone speaking Japanese except for Tony Hawk.
Who is just speaking normal English, but it's like he understands all the Japanese that's being spoken.
Oh my god, I want that to happen. We need a Tony Hawk isekai right now.
Look, hey Tony Hawk, if you're listening, which I know, big fan.
Big fan of the pod. Albeit ghosting us right now. But
Ghosting us a little bit
he's
right
busy,
now,
he's
which makes
busy.
me sad. But maybe us finally doing this anime will be the motivation it takes to get Tony on the show. So with that, Rem, there's not much else to say. It's pretty boys on skateboards racing fast downhill and like talking while doing it. Like
fair enough.
It's hard to describe this show because of how straightforward it is.
I'm just waiting for like a Dragon Ball Z style. They're on one hill for the entire episode having an endless conversation.
Well, you'll have to see for yourself, Rem. So I guess without further ado, let's jump straight into it. Let's go watch some Sk8 the Infinity. Oh, Jesus, Ron Mullen, what the fuck?
If you're thinking about watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, just watch Sk8 the Infinity.
Oh my fuck, Rem. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back after watching 5 whole episodes of the hit 2021 skateboarding anime, Sk8 the Infinity. And Remington, what'd you think of them boys on them boards?
It's not what I was expecting.
What do you mean, Rem? Was it not a bunch of boys on skateboards skating downhill?
It was.
Yeah.
But also, when one of the first characters we see is just like a goddamn juggalo, like just this punk clown boss man weird thing, and then it just gets weirder from there. Yeah, no, it was a trip. It was a journey.
So, Rem, what are your thoughts? I mean, I know that this is a very heavily requested anime, and people want to know if the boys on the boards did it for you, man.
Well, there's gonna be pros and cons, so let's just jump into it.
Okay, let's hear. I cannot wait for you to piss off all the fangirls out there and fanboys, and they're just gonna come after us with skateboards in hands and just bash them over our skulls. It's gonna be great.
So we start off with an exposition on like what happiness is, blah blah blah. And let's start with the negative right off the bat. Anytime this show tries to make even a somewhat deep point, it does not land. This show isn't deep, but sometimes it wants you to think it is. None of those times succeed. One, because the messages are never anything interesting or novel. Two, because the way they are expressed is also just completely straightforward without any nuance or complexity to it. It feels like it's saying a lot. It's really not saying much at all. And that will be repeated a couple times throughout. I don't really know why. It's not why people watch this show. Not for the life lessons you will acquire and be blatantly told. No, you're there for the characters, right? The wacky characters and the skating. There you go.
I mean, to be fair, I was there to try and convince Tony Hawk to come on our show. That was my reason for watching the show initially. But
yes.
Dreams have to die sometimes.
Then we meet Shadow, who's a big punk rock clown boss, and he is going against Reki on this famous underground track. They go, and Reki, he's taking the lead until Shadow the Clown just pulls out firecrackers and fucks Reki up. Apparently that's legal in this race.
It's an underground racing arena.
I want to specify, like,
the rules.
Underground doesn't necessarily mean that there are no rules. Like, you can have rules while still having in fact, I would argue most underground anything has some rules. It's just that it's not, like, official and lawful. That's what makes it underground, not it having zero rules of any kind. And I feel like a very basic rule would be like, hey, no firecrackers. But already it's getting nice and wacky. We meet an exchange transfer student named Lenga, who's going to be our other protagonist. And our protagonists, they meet each other. They get along very quickly. The manager at a store that Reki works at asks Lenga to help because the other ones can't. I can't remember why. It doesn't really matter. The point is, Lenga goes to the underground skate as well. And, oh no, there was a mix-up in the delivery. So now the person can't race against Shadow. So it's like, all right, then Reki, we'll just race again. And then Lenga's no, I will race. But Lenga's already been shown to not know how a skateboard works. Lenga has been shown he's a fucking amateur. He's never been on a skateboard before. The times he has with Reki, he's just fucked it all up. But Lenga has been on a snowboard before. He's been snowboarding his entire life. So he challenges Shadow, and they race, and wouldn't you goddamn know it, Lenga is incredible. He's amazing. He's just so wildly talented once he gets into the zone of viewing it as snowboarding. And sometimes they'll acknowledge that it's not one-to-one, but like 90% of the time, they're like, it's sort of the same thing, right?
I mean, you got a board and you got your feet.
Every now and then they'll be like, oh yeah, this thing is different. Anyway, back to it not being at all different. Anyway, so surprise, surprise, Lenga wins. And that's how we have the first episode. We also briefly meet some other side characters in this who will be focused on a little bit more later. There is Joe, who is a ripped chef skater. And then there is Cherry, who he is like a futuristic samurai skater with an advanced board that he talks to. Sure. All right. Let me make a weird claim, Shaun.
Yeah.
So I wrote down very early on that this is just JoJo's Pro Skater, right? Because it is. But I would take it a step further, Shaun.
Okay.
This is what JoJo's should have been.
Oh, fuck.
Now I've seen a whole 2 goddamn seasons of JoJo, so it's not fully informed, but at the same time, it's 2 goddamn seasons, y'all. That's a lot. I've seen so much.
It was technically all part of one season.
Okay, shut the fuck up.
At the same time, it's just 2 different parts and 2 different storylines. It's different.
2 seasons full. 2 seasons value of JoJo's. And it was not that bizarre. Not that bizarre at all. You know what is bizarre? Sk8 the Infinity. Pretty fucking bizarre. Pretty wacky and zany and wild. And a part of that is the contrast of you have like normal skateboarding, people living their normal lives, and then you get wacky as shit, right? Meanwhile, in JoJo's, everything was just like, okay, it's slightly over the top sometimes. That's it. This is... Look, if you're thinking about watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, just watch Sk8 the Infinity.
Oh my fuck, Rem. Oh fuck, Rem. I didn't think we were going to get that kind of controversy this episode.
Well, Shaun, you should have thought more clearly. This is me we're talking about. Because I will say, right now, I do like Sk8 the Infinity more than JoJo. Now, the question is, do I like Sk8 the Infinity? And that's a harder question to answer. But as we move on into episode 2, a few little housekeeping notes, a few little miscellaneous things. First, the music in Sk8 the Infinity, absolute bop. Love it. Great tunes, great jams, all of the music, fantastic, really enjoyable. The characters, pretty decent, nothing special, but sure, why not? You still have, like, all of episode 1, it's your standard shonen nonsense, but I guess this time, at least it's about a dual protagonist setup rather than just one protagonist, so that they can each have flaws, albeit sort of like the combo is still the dream team. Each one of them individually has their flaws, and I like that it emphasizes that. Later we'll get to a montage in like episode 2 and stuff. Lenga will be learning and stuff, and he still learns at a wildly fast rate, but it shows him fucking up a bunch, and it shows Reki fucking up a bunch. And it's like, yeah, there we go. That's good shit. You, like, hey, shonen, it's okay to watch our protagonists fail. And not even just in montages like these. Like, they can fail in other instances, too. In fact, that's usually more compelling, to see what happens after they fail. What happens after they struggle through that adversity. What next? Right? And that's how you make a sympathetic character. Not by just having it be like, oh, yeah, it was rough, but they always win. It's like, no, fuck that shit. And already...
you're gonna get a lot of angry emails, because there are a lot of shonen that do that.
Yeah, and it's all bad. It's all the same shonen.
No, I'm saying there's a lot of shonen characters that fail constantly.
I'd say there's an asterisk on most of those.
No, man, Rem, this is. I was expecting a fun little experience, but you are just like going for the
like.
throat
Look, I get it. Technically, Kirito fails sometimes, but like also
no. Kirito doesn't fail.
It's
not Kirito failing. It's everybody around Kirito that fails. That's a difference. That's the difference.
Well, already, that's exactly what I mean. So often when a shonen protagonist fails, it's like, well, I mean, but there's always a but. It's like, no, just let them fuck up.
There are so many that do just fuck up though, Rem, my god. Like, this generalization is hurting me deeply inside.
I'm not saying that's 100%. I'm just saying it's way too prevalent. Continuing on, we get to episode 2. Reki is super impressed with his friend. They do some lessons together. Throughout all of their lessons, we then it's basically that's all this episode is. It's mostly just miscellaneous lessons and custom board stuff. And then at the very end of episode 2, a feline femboy named Mia, or Maya? Mia? I don't know.
I think it's Mia.
They arrive at the shop and they challenge Lenga to a race. And they're like, "Ah, shit." We go into episode 3, they're like, "Oh shit, don't fuck around with Mia. They're like a hopeful for the national team. They're wildly talented." And then we have a storyline that should take place over 2 episodes that's just like sort of smushed into one. And it's like, "Oh man, Mia's such a big threat. Hey, let's look over to Mia. You know Mia's problem? It's that Mia never has fun. They just work hard." Very heart of the cards bullshit, you know. And so then at the end, they do their race and Lenga wins, in a photo finish. And Reki is like, "You know why you lost, Mia? It's because you didn't have fun," which is really stupid. It is, once again, please stop trying to have any amount of profundity, because it's real fucking dumb. Just celebrate that Lenga won, right? And then you can have a separate, unrelated conversation about how it's all about the fun of it. Some nonsense like that. But I also don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with, like, pursuing excellence for excellence sake. Usually we would have it be where Mia has been, like, coerced by his parents. It seemed a lot like it's just that Mia wanted to be great. But yeah, this whole thing, it felt really rushed and pretty stupid. So episode 3 didn't really vibe with that one. Just the whole, "Wow, they're such a big threat. How will you ever beat them?" All right, you beat them because they don't enjoy it enough. What? There wasn't even like a point to make that relevant. They like tried to make it a thing, but during the actual race, it just didn't matter, because how could it? Like, oh, Lenga does something fun, but Lenga's not doing like fun shit. It's not like Lenga generally enjoys it, but it's not like he's getting wacky and pulling off just stuff for the hell of it. Like, he was also just trying to win. What the fuck? Episode 4. Episode 4 is where, well, I guess episode 3 to episode 4, we meet Adam. And Adam is a sexy matador of love, skater, over the top. He's undefeated. He wants to fuck everybody. That's his thing. He wants to fuck everybody
No.
on a skateboard. And
Wait. Are you saying he wants to go after people who ride skateboards, or specifically on the skateboard is the location in question?
why not both? I say, Shaun. Why not both?
Oh, I see. Understand.
Which just feel a little bit uncomfortable because Adam is a grown-ass man, and he is trying to seduce children. So, you know, just throwing that out there. Little bit fucking weird, Adam. What the fuck, Adam? Nonetheless, Adam shows up, talks some shit against Mia, and Reki is like, "No, how dare you talk shit against Mia? I'll tell you what, you and me, let's race and take back what you said." And Adam's like, "All right." And you think there'd be some more build-up, but no, there's not a lot. Once again, all of this just very crammed in. All of this is going to be resolved this episode. They do a little preparation. Then Reki and Adam, they race against each other. Adam, he's confident. He's arrogant. He smokes a cigarette at the start of the race before even going down, letting Reki get a head start. But then Adam immediately catches up, and he skates with. He like grabs Reki and like dances with him on the skateboards. Before he does his patented love hug technique, which is just when he stops in front of you and then you die. I'll be honest, they really built up this move, but it is just that he stops in front of you. And they try to make it a big deal. They try to do some explanation for like why it works psychologically. It's real dumb. Like, he just hopes that you'll fuck up, I guess. And everyone always does, and they get injured. and then he doesn't even finish the race. I don't know, man. It's pretty stupid. Nonetheless, Reki loses and injures himself a bit. And as Adam's prize is that he gets to race against Lenga, who he's had his eyes on this whole time. Reki is like, hey, Lenga, you shouldn't race against Adam. It's a bad idea. And Lenga's like, nah, but I'm going to, though. They have a little bit of exposition. Then in episode 5, Lenga and Adam, they race. And Lenga is able to not fall for Adam's tricks at any point. He's able to very easily dodge the love hug because the love hug is a shitty move. Also, like, with the love hug, a part of the move is like, oh, rumor says he can go uphill, right? But it's just an optical illusion because he just stops in front of you, so it looks like he's approaching you because you're approaching him. But what about all of the spectators who see that? Because there's so many spectators. All of them who just see him stop and are like, oh, I don't know why there are rumors that he skates uphill. He just stops. What? What are you talking about? We've all seen that, right? We've seen him do this multiple times. Why would this rumor start?
I mean,
yeah, Shaun?
It's...
Do explain.
It's supposed to be fun, Rem. It's supposed to be fun, have a good time, put a bit of style on it, have a good, fun, silly time on the skateboards with the boys. Come on. Boys will be boys will skateboard.
Oh, okay,
I think that's the idea.
But of course, I forgot.
It's like, optical illusions are fun, it's
the worst fucking optical illusion. It's like doing the shitty, like, finger trick, right? Finger removal trick that every uncle does. But you're looking at it from behind, so you can see that they're just bending their finger. But you still are like, oh my god, it looks like they're taking off the finger. Not from that perspective, it doesn't. What are you talking about? That shouldn't fool you. Nonetheless, Lenga starts dominating, but just then, the cops happen to show up. Possibly called by Adam's helpers or something. And Adam decides that Lenga will be perfect to become his Eve. He wants to fuck that child. He wants to fuck that kid. I don't think that's a controversial statement. I don't think that's up for dispute.
Nah, I mean, you're not gonna get.
All right, cool. Just wanted to confirm.
Okay, I mean,
like Reki and Lenga also want to fuck each other. So do Cherry and Joe. There's a lot of queer baiting in this show, but both of those, it's like, yeah, you have an adult and an adult with Joe and Cherry, and then you have a kid and a kid with Reki and Lenga, both acceptable. Adam, the matador of love, no, you stop looking at Lenga that way. It's making us all uncomfortable.
I mean, Rem, he is the antagonist. Like,
all right, okay, wait.
It's supposed to make you a little uncomfortable.
Okay, so you're telling me because it's the antagonist and obviously it wants to vilify these actions, that at some point it's going to be like, hey, Adam, real fucked up and pedophilic that you're preying on these literal children. It's gonna call that out then? Oh no, it's not? Almost like that's not the reason he's the antagonist? Almost like that's completely irrelevant to him being the antagonist? Okay, cool, just wanted to confirm. Also, at one point, Reki is like, hey, Lenga, since Adam always injures his opponents, you should wear a helmet. And Lenga's like, nah, helmets, if you want to go fast and be mobile, don't wear a helmet and, like, knee pads and elbow pads, kids. And it's like, what? Excuse me? But definitely do those things, though. I want to clarify, if you're skateboarding, have the proper safety equipment, y'all. You're gonna get a concussion otherwise, all right? Our boy Tony Hawk.
Tony Hawk wears proper
Yeah,
equipment.
you're damn right. Tony Hawk, he's always wearing that, because otherwise he'd be fucking dead by now.
Instead, he's still rocking the half pipes, which is amazing.
It ain't safe to be. It ain't lame to be safe, and it ain't safe to be lame, y'all. All right, a message from Remington.
I feel like you've been watching the show too much because that sounded like one of the messages from the show.
It did, didn't it? That was the level of quality. So in this show's favor, because I've talked a lot of shit at this point, it's generally enjoyable. It's just a nice little popcorn show. It's a candy show. It has broadly enjoyable things. Things are always happening. The characters aren't anything special. The plot is not anything special, but it's all vaguely interesting and enjoyable. I don't know. Depending on the day, this would be anywhere from like a 4.5 to a 5.5 for me. So anywhere from like vaguely enjoyable to vaguely unenjoyable, depending on my mood. It's decent. It's a decent show. But I'll tell you what, the intro and outro to every episode, fucking bop, dude. Genuinely, and I don't even mean this with malice, those were my favorite parts of every episode.
So in summary, for all the people who requested this show, I hope you got what you wanted. And I don't know how you would have expected it to go any other way. But quite frankly, I'm just amazed it got as controversial as it did, honestly, Rem. I thought we were just going to make fun of the skateboarding pretty boys for a hot minute, and then, no, you had to go for the throat of several different, like, broad categories of anime and anime fan. Like, that's impressive,
of course. How could I
not? It's been a while since you've actively tried to make enemies on the podcast, I feel like.
Hey, what can I say? That's what I do best.
Well, fair enough. I think that about covers it, Rem. Have any guesses on what the mouse score for Sk8 the Infinity is?
I think it's gonna be an 8.19.
That high, huh?
I think so. Because Pretty Boys.
Pretty Boys carries it all the way above the barrier between 7 and 8, is what you're saying?
Unironically, I think so. Like, I think you got all the shonen bullshit standard, and it's like, it's your standard shonen plus, where it's like everything you'd expect from shonen and done a little bit above average. Not to the point of being anything spectacular or different, but like it does the shonen formula well. And then it does Pretty Boys very, very well. People are going to, whatever your tastes are, you're gonna find a pretty boy for you in this show.
A pretty boy flavor for every palate is what you're saying.
Yeah, what's your pretty boy flavor, Shaun?
Of the ones presented before us?
Yeah.
Oh man, see, that's tough. I kind of like the aesthetic of the pink cyber ninja skateboarder.
Fair enough.
I feel like that's a very fun aesthetic to work with. Probably close second is Joe for me.
Yo, reasonable.
Yeah. You got a pretty boy preference? Or were you just asking that so that I can embarrass myself on the podcast?
I mean, it depends on the day.
Mm-hmm.
Love the aesthetic of the Matador, but hate the attitude.
Right. So what you're saying is Shadow's your favorite.
Oh god.
The only not pretty boy in the show.
You know, Shadow will be for some people, but not for me.
He's not your cuppa?
I don't know. I guess it might be the straight up femboy.
And this is the part where I tell you Mia is 13.
We specified flavor, not specifically the people, all right?
All right. Okay,
we're talking about
enough.
Archetypes here.
All right. I'm just saying. I'm just saying you're starting to look good in a Matador mask. That's all I'm saying, Rem. Just, you know.
Oh, no. Oh, God.
Oh my god. Well, Rem, to get back on the mouse score with 235,000 ratings, Sk8 the Infinity is actually sitting at a very respectable 8.03.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people really, really enjoy the pretty boys skating downhill real fast.
Yep.
Guy, because, hey, that's great. Who doesn't love that? Pretty close guess, all things considered. Yeah. Even though you would consider it, just smack dab in the middle of quality.
Not necessarily meaning that it's of average. It's above average for a shonen. Let's be abundantly clear about that. But that does not mean above average doesn't necessarily equate to being great.
Fair enough. Well, I think that's more than enough. Final question, Rem. Any chance you'd like to watch some more Sk8 the Infinity with me?
I might be down. Not enthusiastically, though.
Well, with that in mind, thank you all so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. If you enjoy Rem just straight up slandering the favorite things you love in life, then head on over to wherever you get your podcast and leave us a review. Whether that be Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, etc. It means the world to us, and we do read every single one. And if that is still not enough for you, you can head on over to twitch.tv/animeoutofcontext, where you can watch myself, Dylan, and Remington occasionally play video games incredibly poorly. And if that is still not enough for you, you can head on over to patreon.com/animeoutofcontext, where you gain access to all kinds of lovely bonus material, including having the opportunity to be thanked live on the podcast. So, Rem, who are we thanking this week?
As always, we would like to send our regards to all of our bland bitch protagonists, as well as our magical girls, who we really appreciate. But moving on, we get to our yandere waifus, who are giving us a love hug and send us careening into the walls. And on that list, we have Zombie Stomp 91, Soul Eater is Life, Xanix, Yandere Neko, Shaun, Humstuv. When do you guys record part 2 of the pod so I can better time my Patreon name change? Especially for the next, 2 months, who the fuck knows, man. The next 2 months...
Safe bet is between Mondays. Monday is probably the safest bet.
Yeah.
If you're gonna change your name.
Yeah. But yeah, especially for the next little while, it'll vary a lot. Walk Me Home Gently, Way to Shell, Tyler Worley, Turtly Enough for the Turtle Club, Trenton Farrell, Travis J. Humphrey, Totally God, Tim Westy, The Susanator, The Big Bean, Takeman Cheeks, Spicidus, the fellow who shall reign supreme after rewriting the phonetic system, Sonic X is my favorite anime, Silent Secondary, Shoujo Addict who doesn't need help, just more manga to read and anime to watch, Shaun's hot, throbbing gumdrop buttons. Shaun, read this. Alright, don't mind me, I'm just making the sounds of furious masturbation into a hopefully dead fish. Wow, Shaun,
No!
That's pretty fucked.
Oh, God!
Shaun, punish Rem and make him watch Excel World. Shaun, read this. Sorry if I broke the Patreon.
I don't like this trend. I don't like this. This is so uncomfortable for me.
Shaun told me in secret that frog ass juice was great. School Days in Clannad for the feels. Salty Pretzel. Ross Palmer. Rhiannon Williams. Rem crushes my soul. Rem gave me depression. Rem, are you a smart fella or a fart smeller? Well, search in your heart. No Waifu No Laifu, Nick Harvey, Makeka 7 Hierto, Mexican Gone Freaks, My Suzitzi, Matthew Drum says Dylan's an angel, Matt02 Max, Lizzie Anthea, Latinos Eats Death and Anime for Breakfast, King Rich Rock, Casey Mosley, Cassidy, Just a Traveler, Joey Wheeler says, Hey Yugs, battle not with monsters lest ye become a monster, and if you gaze into the abyss, it will say, yeah. Jax, Jam Hands, it only takes one Misaka to screw in a light bulb, answer Misaka, wondering if that makes her unusually proficient. I'm Remington, am a Kappa, and love to steal everyone's butt balls. I want to feast on your despair, now give me a cool and interesting anime-related pun name, you Irish fuck.
Please tell me that you ad-libbed that and they didn't change their name.
No, I know, they definitely did. They changed their name.
Oh man. I don't know. I don't know what they want is the thing.
Just take any anime-related, literally anything.
Okay.
Literally anything else.
Literally
Mush
anything.
them together to come up with an anime-related pun name.
Okay. Congratulations, you are now show nanners.
There you go. Boom. I want Rem to ruin Darling in the Franxx for me. Hunter Davies. How many more weeks can this guy make me read about white swords, Shaun? Hey, Shaun, say this. All right. Dylan's hot throbbing toes are mighty tasty for my elegant mouth.
Oh, God.
Oh, Jesus
Christ.
Christ.
Fuck. That's awful.
Holy shit.
Oh, God. Dylan's gonna hate that.
Shaun and Dylan, I don't want to hear about what you guys get up to.
Dylan has the opposite of a foot fetish, whatever that is. So he's gonna be very angry when he hears that.
Well, no, it's he's not interested in your feet. You are interested in his feet.
It doesn't matter with him. If he could chop off his own feet and still be fine, he probably would.
Hearing Remington's brain melt after watching the ballsiness that is Endless 8 would be a great pleasure to everyone listening. Glenn Michael Dolan, fuck of love, Fox and Boy. Farmer Weaves, bad pickup line of the week. Did it hurt? No, not the fall from heaven, but when the Kappa pulled out your butt ball. Fantide, Extreme Cobra, drink milk to prevent wobbly bones, not a conspiracy. Dickite, mimicin, picature, tris, pentafluorethyl, trifluorophosphate, also known as FAP, and finally, trans 1,4-bis for pridoleth. During the mood fan, Crumb Sluts Bakery, come try Cosmo and Wanda double penetration donuts. Jesus fucking Christ.
That's a mental image I'm never going to
Creed
get out of my
13,
head.
Shine 900, Cheese Monkey, Cecilia, First L is silent, my parents just like watching people struggle, Cage in the House, Brockhard for Geodudes, Blood for the Blood God, Skulls for the Skull Throne, Big Blue Bear Boy. And when that final moment came to pass, like Christ, I came riding on an ass. Elise Howard, AJ Tunnels, AJ Honey, and now we go to the Boy Wizard tier where you get the task you avoided by writing a Patreon named Chris. You get planning your fiance's B-day. Hashtag communism for books. And now we go to the Boy Wizard tier where everybody will be assigned their own spirit pro skater. Yu Yu Hakusho.
God, that's gonna be tricky because a lot of them are very controversial.
Hey man, I'm not into the controversy. It's just whether or not they are there.
They showed up in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 or 2.
Basically, that is just the criteria here. So, first, Yu Yu Hakusho is the best tournament arc anime. You are going to get you get Chris Cole. Warning, you're 799 episodes away. You get P-Rod, Vincent Calabrese. You get Ryan Sheckler. The Great Bubble of Despair. You get Jay Adams. Shaun, you are my idol, and just like you, I will also stand behind Rem and slap that. I don't know if it's slap that body, but it feels like it might want to be booty. I don't know for sure.
That feels like autocorrect is like playing against them is what that feels like to me.
Nigel Houston is yours, or Huston, but I think Houston. Rat Visa the Finish. You get Bucky Lasik, Professor of Abyssal Technologies and Children. You get Danny Way. Please watch Healer Girl, a cute slice of life about using music to heal people. Also, Rem is still a girl. You get Leticia Buffani. My Afro Ate My Dog. You get Bob Burnquist. Momo the Griff. You get Alyssa Steamer. Mike Wants an Overlord review. You get Daewon Song. Miguel DeLeon. You get Ed Templeton. Mephiles, the king of swords, has arrived, motherfuckers. You get Rob Dyerdeck. My Tawa says first 3 arcs of Bakemonogatari is just 8 episodes. You are going to get Rodney Mullen.
I'd recognize that one. I hope he's not controversial, otherwise we're in trouble.
Inuyasha's my favorite cryptid. You get Mark Gonzalez. Hey Rem, do a backflip. Stacy Peralta. Go ahead, call the cops. It won't silence the voices. They're getting louder. Please send help. You are going to get Jason Lee. Which, odd, but sure, why not? Yeah, Jason Lee, I guess. Apparently he's a pro skater.
No, I could have fooled me.
Fool.
I know nothing about him.
You probably know more than you think you know.
Really?
But not as a skateboarder.
Okay.
Then we get to Fool. My legend dates back to the 12th century, so you see it began on a midsummer's day with the sun blazing overhead. No, wait, and then it cuts off. There seems to be more to it.
I do get that reference, just so people are aware.
I don't. Tony Alva. Crimson Reapers, just because of the sides, you get Bam Margera.
See, I think he is one of the controversial ones.
So.
If I had to guess.
Yeah.
If I had to guess a controversial skateboarder, Bam Margera is probably the first one that comes to mind.
Beethoven 1201, you are going to get Tony Hawk himself.
Ooh,
Fuck, the Ginger Irish Fox ate a bowl of shit on stream again. What a mockery of a tax collector. You are going to get Jeff Rowley. Anime Girl, you're getting Jamie Thomas. I don't think I've said them yet. Aaron Hegland, you are going to get Kareem Campbell. And there we go. Now we go to the Joey Wheeler tier, where Shaun will read quotes from professional skaters, and they will be your new Tinder bio.
Right. With the as Joey Wheeler.
Of course, always,
I presume. Yeah. Okay. All right. Are you gonna by chance find a list for me, or is this?
Oh no, that's
I have
on
to
you.
destroy
But
my search. Okay, cool. Famous skateboarder quotes. Hold on.
And we start off. She uses it, and the lights dim. It's like a prison movie. Pardon me?
I don't know.
It's so specific, and yet I do not understand. Anyway, what's their new Tinder bio, Shaun?
No, don't give me a fucking like online recipe. Is like skateboarding is all about like soul and no, I don't. Just give me the quotes. Just give me the fucking quotes. They are all literally about skateboarding, so I hope that's okay. Well, except for Jesus, Rodney Mullen, what the fuck? I mean, sure, I guess. Let's start with that one. There is no second place. There is only losing.
Well, a very confrontational Tinder bio. Next
Yeah.
up, we got Raftalia's My Anime Waifu will return in September.
A bit more, what the fuck?
Give me a quote, Sean.
I'm not gonna read that one because that one's really fucked up. And I don't know why it's on this list of, like, greatest skateboarding quotes of all time. Whoever wrote this list must be a sexist prick.
Oh,
Jesus. So I'm not gonna read that one. Instead, okay, a lot of these quotes make me think that a lot of professional skateboarders are pricks. Which is unfortunate. Tony Hawk seems to have the only nice ones. So let's go with that one of his.
I have sent you a list of Tony Hawk quotes if you want to somewhat pivot in that regard.
Yeah. I won't quit skateboarding until I am physically unable. Tony Hawk.
Hopefully, you skate, because otherwise that'll be very misleading of a Tinder bio.
Well, here's the thing, Rem. When you get quotes about skateboarders, guess what they talk about?
Next up, we got Pizza Cotton Candy is my waifu.
This is an unknown author,
Oh,
and it's simply, skate is gonna skate.
there you go, bud. Perfect. Next up, we got Magic Ice Ball. Once again, if you need to use the list I sent you, go for it.
Yeah, nope. Pivoting to the Tony Hawk list because Jesus Christ, some of these quote unquote greatest skateboarding quotes of all time are very unfortunate. Tony Hawk once said, "I believe that people should take pride in what they do, even if it is scorned or misunderstood by the public at large."
Yeah, that's just a fine quote right there. Next up, we got Demon Ray 13.
The biggest lesson I learned from my dad is to support children even if they're doing something that is unorthodox.
A little bit weird for Tinder bio, but sure, why not? Next up, we got my dear old mom.
Gotta show that you support kids, I suppose. Okay, Jesus. Alright, here we go. My definition of success is doing what you love. I feel that many people do things because they feel they have to, and they're hesitant to risk following their passion, and obviously, yeah, it's hard right now, but there's a chance if you get laid off, then maybe that's your saving grace, your chance to restart.
All right, next up we got Charles C. Nussbaum.
You might not make it to the top, but if you're doing what you love, there's much more happiness than being rich or famous.
Fair enough. Tony Hawk, just a lot of nice corny quotes from the Hawkman. Next up we got Blood Cell, not the white one.
I like this quote. This is a good quote. When your daughter asks you to be a fairy for her 5th birthday party, you better be a damned fairy.
And last but not least, going above and beyond, we got Dylan Hayden.
Let's go back to the other list, see if there's a less offensive one. Because the problem with the list you gave me is a lot of them are just the same quote. Like there's dupes, and I don't know why. Gee, or maybe there is a quote I missed on the Tony Hawk list. Like, hold on. Here we go. Being different is awesome. All those who are different are more interesting than those who are clamoring for acceptance because they follow the path.
There we go, folks. If you want to reach out, whether it's for a comment, question, feedback, or recommendation, you can tweet us at AnimeConPod on Twitter, or send an email over onto animeoutofcontext@gmail.com.
And I'm going to say it right now, Rodney Mullen is not invited on the podcast.
Fair.
Because after saying that quote, fuck no. Oh, wait, no. Sorry, Rodney Mullen. The sexist quote wasn't
Wow, you're slandering Rodney.
Some of his quotes are kind of concerning.
You heard it from Shaun himself. Rodney
that.
has never done anything wrong.
No, I didn't say that.
You heard it here first. Rodney is the worst person ever, according to Shaun.
No. Based on this list, the worst person ever is... Oh, God, I don't know how to say this name. Nya Houston? Nyasha? Nija?
Good work.
Houston?
Good work, Shaun.
But no, seriously, like, Dylan, you can cut this part out, but I have to say it because it's so, like, blindingly offensive that I don't know why it's on this list. It says, some girls can skate, but I personally believe that skateboarding is not for girls at all, not one bit. Like, genuinely, like, that is on this list, and I don't know.
It's something that, apparently Sk8 the Infinity agrees with, so you know.
Oh,
I chose
God.
not to get on my soapbox about that. Anyway, give the outro.
Look, if you're displaying a show about pretty boys, then you get the show about pretty boys. But anyways, once again, y'all, thank y'all so much for tuning in. We love and appreciate you very, very much. And as always, don't fuck your sister.
Well, I mean, fortunately, children aren't real, so I don't think it's like that bad of a moral issue. It's like doing the shitty like finger trick, right? Finger trick that every uncle does. It shows him fucking wrecking a bunch. Adam is a grown-ass man, and he is trying to seduce children.
Fuck yeah, brother.
It's like, no, just let them fuck the butt.
So what you're saying is Shadow's your favorite.
I don't know. I guess it might be the straight-up femboy.
And this is the part where I tell you Mia is 13.
Fuck yeah, brother.